Hey guys, it's Dave, and this week in real estate, we're talking about what actually does closing mean. So this came up this week. I had a couple of simultaneous closings where two sellers were buying a home together, and all of these homes needed to close kind of in sequence in order for the money to be taken from one house and put into the next. And there was some confusion over like the closing date, and let me explain this to you. So when we write in a sales contract, it needs to close on or before a certain date. There's a lot of closing that has to happen prior to the actual closing date. And what I mean by that is the signing of the paperwork is often done on a completely different day than the actual closing date. And I blame HGTV for this, where you see somebody, find the perfect home. They go and they do the typical, let's look at 3 homes and we'll pick the middle one because it's like just right, like Goldilocks. And then they sign a piece of paperwork and get their keys right, at the same time. And that's not how it works in Oregon. So money has to change hands, deeds has to be recorded, wires are flying all over the internet. Signatures are being verified, so is another credit report score, and reviewing of the signatures and all kinds of stuff has to happen. So we often use the term closing synonymous with signing and wiring and drawing loan documents and all of these things that actually take place to close the transaction. So the loan documents first have to get there before anybody can really do anything, before an appointment can be there, before you can say, okay, if we're closing on Friday, we're going to sign on Wednesday. Well, we're not making the appointment on Wednesday unless we have documents for you to actually sign. And so that's like making an appointment with a doctor to review test results when you don't know if the test results will be in at that time. So we wait until we have loan documents, or that we know they're going to be there, before we schedule the actual appointment to sign. In this most recent incident, babysitters were lined up and time off of work was taken and all of this stuff in order to close on our closing date. But that closing date was the last day of the week, and it was the last day in our contract. And so that was a little bit of a time crunch. There was no room for error. We actually got it done. They signed on Friday, they funded on Friday, they recorded on Friday, and but there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that went on to make that happen. And so we like to have a little more room for error and take our time a little bit. So we want more like a Wednesday signing, a Tuesday signing for a Friday funding. And so the signing is the actual loan documents. The seller sells their deed over to you, and when the buyer's buying the loan documents that they're borrowing, then they notarize signatures. All of that stuff has to go back to the lender, and it needs to get reviewed. It needs to make sure that it's notarized. The note and all of that stuff has to be recorded. The deed has to be recorded. The money has to get into an escrow account and then distributed amongst all of the different payoffs. There's maybe 1 loan, 2 loans, IRS liens, child support liens, escrow fees, property taxes. There's money going everywhere in all of these transactions, and so that all has to be there. And then, and only then, when the money is in, when the lender who has wired the money reviews and all of the signatures to make sure we didn't miss an initial or a date or something like that, they then call the title company and balance, making sure that all of the money that the title company says is going off to the various different companies. The lender verifies that those numbers match, and then they release them to record at the county. They put the little stamp on it and wire it, or not wire it, but upload it as a recorded document at county level. And then we have an official closing, and the keys can exchange hands. So that's just what I wanted to explain for you this week. My monitor just signaled that it's been idle too long. I love it when that happens when I'm recording. I'm gonna let it go. It's a blooper, whatever. So thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully this clears up what an actual closing is. I can talk for hours because there's a lot of moving parts, but hopefully this clarifies it. And thanks a lot for watching.